Okay, we can start the lecture. In the previous classes, we were looking at uh, some of the essential stepping stones that are some Leibniz formula or rules, so that it will be helpful in order to derive our conservation laws, that is mass, momentum, and energy conservation equations. We have already looked upon the conservation of mass principle through differential form. We have already, in the last class we have already seen that, and in this class we will see, in this chapter we'll see things in fall into integral form. We have already finished this, and we are going to look the origin of forces today and stress at a point. If time permits, we'll start with conservation of linear and angular momentums. Uh, the force on fluid may be originated or may be classified uh, as body force. It are namely three types: body force, surface force, and line force. So let us first look at the body force. What does it signify? The body forces are the forces that arises from action at a distance without physical contact. So it is not going to pull or push you physically, in the sense the forcing action will not be acting directly on the body. Such forces or such examples could be gravitational force, magnetic force, electrostatics, and electromagnetic forces. These forces are often considered to be conservative forces or conservative body forces. And usually the body forces uh, can be expressed, it should be expressed as the gradient of some potential function. We'll see how. Or gradient of some function, maybe not potential, you don't want to use it potential function, but fine, some function. So let's first talk about what let's look into the gravitational force that falls under body force. So this G is basically G vector, and actually this could be written in terms of gradient of some function. And that function is often called as force potential, and technically it is called force potential or some function. Here suppose my the potential function is equal to gz, and this is also analogous what we generally take as a potential as height, okay, some height, and we that is analogous also. And when we do the gradient, let's suppose I apply gradient on this pi, capital Pi. So this is minus, no, not minus, this is I dou by dou x plus j dou by dou y k dou y dou z, and this nebula operator applies on pi field. This is gz, and this could be written as so these are not functions of x. This 0 and this comes out to be gk. So what I see, this gradient of this potential, some potential function I chosen, and this gives me the gravitational acceleration g. But in order to make it more convenient in order to real life, since gravitation is always acting in minus k direction, right, minus k down direction, so we'll make a minus sign over here, then I will have minus gk, and then I can write that this is nothing but g vector. Now this g vector can be written as minus g, some scalar g value k. Okay, and this, the unit of this is, the unit of this is in per unit mass. Sorry. Yes, the force potential equal the potential energy per unit mass. Fine. So we can see that this g can be written as the minus of gradient of some potential. Similarly, all other magnetic, whether it is magnetic, whether it is electrostatic, electromagnetic, can also be written in some potential function, and the forces, the body forces that it acts associated with would be some gradient of that potential or force potential. Okay, this is how we are going to incorporate our body forces in our conservation laws.
सर
हाँ,
सर ये बॉडी फोर्स में इसमें जो नेगेटिव साइन लिए उसका क्या सिग्निफिकेंस है?
ये हम अपने तरफ से लिए हैं। कारण ये कि जब हम देखो कुछ भी चूज कर सकते हैं, ठीक है, पोटेंशियल हम जीजेड भी चूज कर सकते हैं, पर हम सोच रहे हैं कि या तो माइनस जीजेड ले लो, तो फिर माइनस साइन लेने का जरूरत नहीं है, ठीक है। ये इसलिए करते हैं क्योंकि रियल लाइफ में हमारा जी जो है माइनस के की तरफ एक्ट होता है, ठीक है।
तो सर इसमें जब हम पोटेंशियल फंक्शन को अगर कोई और फोर्स लेते जैसे कि इलेक्ट्रोस्टैटिक या दूसरा कोई लेंगे तो उसमें तो माइनस कंसीडर नहीं करेंगे ना?
जरूरी नहीं, हाँ, नहीं करेंगे, वो जैसा होगा उसके हिसाब से करेंगे। करेक्ट,
ठीक
ठीक है, गुड। Okay, next we are going to talk about the surface forces, and we have also looked upon this briefly in our last chapter. Surface forces are those that exert on area element by the surrounding through direct contact. So let's suppose this is your area element, some area, infinitesimal area dA, and because of the surrounding fluid, let's suppose that there are surrounding fluids that are around here, okay, because of the fluid is present there, it experiences some forces on this area, and these forces can be it could be in arbitrary direction, let's suppose, but it can be resolved into normal and tangential directions to that area. And the normal direction forces that acts are usually normal component of surface forces called normal component, and this is the tangential component of surface forces. And also just keep things in mind that they are proportional to the extent of area. Larger the area you would consider, larger would be the force, and are conveniently expressed per unit area. The surface forces can be resolved into the components normal and tangential to the area. So it can be resolved. It could be in arbitrary direction, and we can think of some surface forces such as shear forces, viscous forces, normal forces applied by fluid element to the surface, or even in between two fluid elements also it could occur. We have already talked about the ratio. The normal force per unit area can also be written as the normal stress at that point, and the forces surface force per unit area, the tangential surface force, is called shear stress. Okay, to completely specify these stresses, we'll come to that now. Okay, after that we need 9 components basically to completely specify stress at a point or an infinitesimal area or infinitesimal point basically. We'll look upon this quickly in 2-3 slides. The third type of force that we will talk about in fluid mechanics are the line forces. So the only one line forces that we would consider in this, that is there, is surface tension, and are called line forces because they act along a line. Okay, so you remember surface tension, the unit of surface tension is force per unit length. Okay, and have a magnitude proportional to the extent of the line. Okay, and these line forces, unlike, they appear at the interface between liquid and gas, or at the interface between two immiscible liquids. So generally these surface tension will occur at the interfaces, whereas your body forces act as a whole holistically. Surface forces will be acting at the surfaces only where the contact is there, and interface, and these line forces will act where there are interfaces of two fluids. So suppose this is one fluid, this is your two fluids, so it will act at the interface at one particular line. Okay, and the surface tension forces do not appear directly in the equation of the motion, but enter only in the boundary. And this is the most important thing for surface tension, which we will also incorporate in later examples and numericals, that surface tension will come into picture only while introducing the boundary conditions, whereas your body forces and surface forces will come into picture in the equation itself. Okay, while deriving the governing equation, the body forces and the surface forces both will come into picture while going. So F is equal to ma, and this will actually lead to our Navier-Stokes equation full, but we'll see step by step how this has been derived. But yes, for deriving Navier-Stokes equation, body forces and surface forces both cumulatively as a sum will give you the net acceleration. This comes from Newton's second law. and we will incorporate body and surface both at that time, but not the line force, because line force will not give a body a holistic acceleration. Okay, it is just sitting because of the interfaces that are there. Okay, and this will come into picture when we will apply some boundary conditions to solve this, or some critical cases or some specific cases, right? This you should keep in mind, remember. And this was your bubble. I mean, this is from your last chapter. This, let's suppose this is your bubble, and at the interface, let's cut that bubble into half, and you see at at the circumference, you only feel the surface tension. Surface tension will be felt at the circumference only, and this we have seen we have to apply the force balance here. So surface tension will be balanced by the pressure jump that is there across this bubble from the outside. Now let us look at, we are slowly moving towards deriving the conservation laws, but before that 2-3 properties we need to derive in order to derive it easily. Okay, so in this scenario we are going to derive first the stress tensor is symmetric, and this is the property that we'll be using to derive our standard conservation equation. But and we'll go through it right now. So for that we should know about the stresses at a point. So the first index, so stress at any, there will be 9 components of stresses. I mean, to completely specify the stress at this point, you should have 9 components, and tau ij, it will be indicated at tau ij. The first component I indicates the direction of normal to the surface on which stress is considered. So this gives you direction where it is giving, and second index is the direction in which stress. Okay, sorry. Okay, so this is the direction of normal of surface, means at what surface it is acting. So it means, see, if at 2 it is acting, so at 2 phase it is acting in 2 direction. So first specifies your direction of area at which it is acting, and the second it signifies where the normally it is acting, the stress that is acting. So first is the area vector, I mean area direction, and second is its own direction. Because area can also be aligned in different orientation. So that is why we need to take the consideration of area direction as well. Okay, otherwise you may misjudge things, are you may jumble. Okay, so yes, so here are 1, 2 and 3. Let's suppose this point can be exaggerated and shown by this cube in Cartesian coordinate. And where you can see at this surface along this stress is 2, 2, means this is acting on 2 phase. So this is your 2 phase. 2 phase means what area or phase or area, this area acts along 2, means its normal vector is pointing towards 2. Okay, what about this area? So it's normal outward vector. So let's suppose my outward vector is down, so it is pointing around -3 direction. It will be your convention that what is your outward direction. So right hand side if I talk about left direction, so it is acting along -2, right? Similarly, and this next is the direction at which the stress is own stress is acting, so it is again in 2 direction. So this, I mean, the stress, if you talk about the stress vector, it goes tau 2. Similarly, if you talk about the surface, I mean the tangential stress or the shear stress in this direction, so this will come along, this is acting along on the 2 surface only but in 3 direction. This is acting upon 2 surface only but 1 in direction. Okay, this 3 components specifies the stress at a plane, but for a point you need to have other 3 components as well. So completely you need 9 components to completely specify. Okay, stress at a point in cylindrical coordinate. Can we write stress at point in cylindrical coordinates? Have you guys thought about it? It can be, or it should be. No, yes. So in cylindrical coordinate, so in cylindrical coordinate, what are the things you have? You have this is R, this is your, not this is, so we generally we don't like write this way. Okay, fine. So let's suppose you have a cylindrical element. Okay, so usually this is your R coordinate. Okay, and this is your theta coordinate, and this is your Z coordinate. Okay, R theta Z. Okay, now if I take an element, so I have to extract some element from inside. So inside, let's suppose my 3D element would something look like this. Okay, when I make it bigger, so it should look something like this, and both means same thing, whether you are deriving things in Cartesian coordinate or polar coordinate or spherical coordinate. So basically this was your R, and this was your theta, and above is your Z. Okay, so I can tell that at this particular surface you have if it is acting stress in this direction, tau, this is R फेस पे R डायरेक्शन में, R फेस पे ही थीटा डायरेक्शन में, R फेस पे थीटा डायरेक्शन में, ऊपर वाला कर लेंगे तो R फेस पे Z डायरेक्शन में. तो इस तरीके से हम 3 कंपोनेंट यहाँ पे आया. इस साइड में भी ऐसा कुछ आ सकता है. ठीक है, तो आई कैन डू दिस वे एंड परपेंडिकुलर. सो ये वाला चीज़ आएगा मेरा टॉ, मेरा कौन सा फेस हो जाएगा, ये थीटा फेस पे थीटा डायरेक्शन में. ओके, थीटा फेस पे आर डायरेक्शन में, थीटा फेस पे जेड डायरेक्शन में. ओके, 1 2 3 6 कंपोनेंट हुआ. ऊपर भी हमारा हो सकता है. So this and this. So this is your z plane. So z plane पे r डायरेक्शन में, z plane पे z डायरेक्शन, z plane पे थीटा डायरेक्शन में. So all these 3 sets will completely specify your stress at cylindrical element. Okay, when you derive it, you come up with, I mean, if you derive the force equation here, obviously, your force equation related to these stresses will give you stresses in forces in Cartesian coordinate, whereas if you derive in this, you will have certain modifications. Some extra terms will be there according to your Nabla operations are also complicated here. But yes, people do that in order to, if things are in cylindrical system, or it is more favorable in your solid mechanics courses. Okay, where you want to stress points bend or something, then you usually go by these elements and then you derive things. Okay, leaving behind, now I want to actually prove that my stresses are shear stresses are symmetric. So I want to prove that tau equal to tau ji, and in order to do that, let us first consider, so this can be also done into three-dimensional sense, but to be very simplistic, we'll take in 2 dimension only. So this is your one x1 axis, this is my x2 axis, or x or y axis, or x1 x2, both are same. I will take my infinitesimal element, 2D element, okay, and it has centroid here, and we want to show the stresses up here. Okay, so this point is basically 1, 2. I mean, this is some p point. Okay, so at this p point, and we have, let's suppose this is my dx1 smaller length, elemental length, and this is my dx2 length. Okay, stress at this point, this right hand side could be the shear stress that is acting along the surface is tau 12. Okay, so tau 12 will be actually at this point it is acting in this direction, tau 12. Okay, so at a distance dx plus dx1 by 2 right hand side, it will act through Fourier expansion. I can tell that because of the continuity. I mean, the continuous function could be continuous, should be continuous. So tau 12 plus of dou tau 12 by dou x, we are going right hand side, tau x1 times, okay, times the dx1 distance, right? And dx1 distance we didn't go, we went dx1 by 2 distance basically. So this is the stress, shear stress that is acting on the right hand side. Similarly, the shear stress is acting at the left hand side is tau 12 minus of dou tau 12 dou x1 times dx1 by 2. Okay, there will be normal component also working. So, but the thing is, normal component will act in this way, tau 11, but we are not going to consider the normal components because we are going to take the torque, and this we are going to apply, or we are going to apply the torque equation at this point, or moment equation. So obviously this normal forces that will act along these surfaces will not be applying any moment. So I am not going to consider the normal component of forces, stresses, normal stresses here in this context. So what I will consider is the shear thing that will give you some torque about this P point. So at the top we have the shear stresses at this point, and obviously the shear stress at this point will be tau 2 phase पे one direction, tau to 1. So at this phase, since this is infinitesimally upper, I mean up, I am considering, so tau 2 phase पे one direction में plus dou tau to 1 by dou dx2, I am going x2 direction up, times dx1 dx2 by 2, right? Similarly, the stress that is acting over here is tau to 1 plus dou tau to 1 by dou x2 times, so sorry, this would be minus, right, minus dx2 by 2. Okay, now let us apply the moment equation or the torque equation at this particular point. So when I do that, so total torque that acts on this point is torque is what? Force times distance. Okay, so this is the force, this is the distance, this is the force, this is the distance, but they make a couple. So this has a tendency to make a anti-clockwise torque, this also anti-clockwise, but these two things making it clockwise. So this and this will summate the forces. So force times, so tau 1 2, let me write that, tau 1 2 plus dou tau 1 2 by dou x1 dx1 by 2 times, so this is your stress. Now stress, I have to take force, right? Force into distance होता है, ठीक है, basically r cross f होता है in proper vector manner, but fine, since I know that this is 90 degree, so simply rf I can do that, because sin 90 is 1, so r times f. So what is my f force? Since this is stresses, I have to multiply it with by the area that is it is acting upon. So the area here is, so dx2 times dx3 in this plane, the z direction, x3. Okay, and I consider that I will take x3 as 1 unity and depth is unity, so x3 will not be, I will not consider anywhere, because this is unity, so this is 1. So this is your area. Okay, so now this is the total is your force times the distance is dx1 by 2. So this is one force by this particular guy. Now let us consider this guy. So I have to do sum tau 1 2 minus this time dou tau 1 2 by dou x1 dx1 by 2 times dx2 times dx times 1 times dx1 by 2. Okay, this is your area, this is your length that is acting upon, this is whole your force, and this is your length. So this is your torque overall torque by these two guys. Now we are left with these two guys. Okay, so total torque, let's suppose total torque T is nothing but these two sum minus, because these two torques are anti-clockwise and this is your clockwise direction, so minus of tau 21 plus dou tau 21 dou x2 times dx1 by 2 times area, that is dx1 times 1 is your 2, so this is your area times dx2 by 2. Okay, again minus, whole minus I am taking, dou to 1 minus dou to 1 by dou x2 times dx2 by 2. This is your stress times area, so this is dx1 times 1 times the length, we are considering dx1 by 2, am I right? Also dx2 by 2. Okay, now if you do the calculations properly, you will get things will cancel out and you will be left with net torque is equal to tau12 minus tau21 times dx1 times dx2. Okay, this is the net things will come. I mean, things will be cancelling out, and if you do it properly, you will get this. Okay. Now, what is the torque equation? Torque is equal to I times alpha. So I is the moment of inertia, okay, of that element, and alpha is the angular acceleration. And we also called alpha is equal to omega dot, or alpha is equal to theta double dot. We can also write that I omega dot or I theta double dot. Dot means with time, d omega by dt, d2 theta by dt square, that is alpha. Okay, and this omega will be in three direction, basically third direction. Okay, z direction omega I'm talking about. Okay, this will have a tendency to rotate things into z direction, right? Things will rotate if at all it is rotating. Okay, now let us put it here. So I can write I omega 3 dot is equal to tau12 minus tau21 times dx1 dx2. Okay, and what is the moment of inertia of a plate of length a and b about this axis? If it is trying to rotate, there is some moment of inertia that it possesses. So this I usually we have the formula. I mean, we know from our basic physics that mass by 12 times a square plus b square was our formula. So basically, how this moment of inertia comes from. So the moment of inertia comes from is you have some elemental mass dm, and that is at distance r. Okay, so the moment of inertia is generally written as I is equal to dm r square or r square dm, and you are not going to integrate all the masses if at all if they are connected. So while integrating this, you for a for any shape, basically you will integrate and you can find this. If it is circular, you will get easily things. If you get rectangular, you have to do some manipulation, but yes, you will come up with this. And when I substitute it here, I get mass is basically everything is terms of per unit volume. So rho will come into picture, rho by 12 basically, and it will come a square plus b square, or maybe the length would be dx1 square plus dx2 square times dx1 dx2. It will come times omega 3 dot is equal to tau12 minus tau21 dx1 dx2. So these cancels out, and also this, since dx and d2, dx1 and dx2 are very infinitesimally small, so squares of those terms also goes away. So you are left with basically tau12 minus tau21 is equal to 0 for infinitesimal element. So we can see that tau12 is equal to tau21, and both are equal and symmetric. Okay, so the tensor that it forms is basically symmetric. So we have done it in 2 dimension. We found this tau12 is equal to tau1. If we do it in 3 dimension properly, we get all the manipulations. So yes, these two as well. Okay, so we will take use of this symmetricity in our conservation equations the moment we are going to define it in the next class. Okay, so yes, any questions so far? We are going slowly, I mean still slowly, but once we achieve some of the Navier-Stokes equation in our hand, then we are going to quickly switch to the numericals, and we are going to tackle numericals now and then. Okay, and it will then it will be more
Sir,
fun. Currently it is of tell me.
सर हमने जो इक्वेशन अभी जो फोर्स डिराइव किया है वो सर एक बार रिपीट कर दीजिए ना सर। और यस सर यही
ये वाला ओके यहाँ
ये
पे
जो
मैंने क्या
अपने
हाँ
टाइम
इसमें
वन
मैंने
टू
क्या किया
प्लस
हाँ कहाँ पे नहीं समझ में आया आपको?
ये जो आपने x1 x2 x3 ड्रॉ किया है ना एक्सिस,
हाँ
वो सर ये जो टाउ वन टू प्लस डेल टाउ वन टू बाई डेल x1 इंटू डी
ये
एक्स
कहाँ
वन
से
बाई
आया
टू।
है? हाँ
यस सर।
ये कहाँ से आया है? ये ओके ठीक है, मैं ये फिर से बता देता हूँ यहाँ पे। x1 डायरेक्शन है, ये x2 डायरेक्शन है। कोई भी पॉइंट जो है, पॉइंट पे मुझे स्ट्रेस देखना था, ठीक है। तो इस पॉइंट पे स्ट्रेसेस जो हैं कई सारे लगते हैं, ठीक है। तो इस पॉइंट पे स्ट्रेस वो क्या बताते हैं, इस डायरेक्शन में भी लगेगा, इस डायरेक्शन में भी लगेगा, इस डायरेक्शन में भी लगेगा, ऊपर जाएंगे ऐसे लगेगा, ऐसे लगेगा, ऐसे लगेगा, बहुत सारा, ठीक है। 9 कंपोनेंट लग जा रहा होता है, बट यहाँ इसको दिखा नहीं पाते हैं, ठीक है। एक पॉइंट है, तो हम पॉइंट के बदले में क्या करते हैं ना, एक छोटा सा वॉल्यूम ले लेते हैं ऐसा, ठीक है। अब यहाँ पे जो मेरा स्ट्रेस लग रहा था, ये मान लो अगर किसी की पॉइंट पे लग रहा है या x, y पे लग रहा है, तो इससे अगर राइट हैंड डिस्टेंस में अगर x डेल्टा x जाते हैं, ठीक है, तो ये अगर फंक्शन मेरा f है, तो अगर डेल्टा x डिस्टेंस हम मूव करते हैं, तो यहाँ पे जो इसकी वैल्यू होती है, इस फंक्शन की वैल्यू, अगर ये कॉन्टिन्यूस फंक्शन होता है तो इसकी वैल्यू हो जाती है f प्लस डॉ एफ बाई डॉ एक्स टाइम्स डी एक्स प्लस डॉ टू एफ बाई डॉ एक्स स्क्वायर टाइम्स डी एक्स स्क्वायर बाई टू प्लस डॉट 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 हायर ऑर्डर टर्म्स। ये टेलर सीरीज एक्सपेंशन ये बोलता है, ठीक है। हम क्या करेंगे, हायर ऑर्डर टर्म्स, क्योंकि डी एक्स स्क्वायर बहुत छोटा हो जाएगा, तो इस हायर ऑर्डर टर्म्स हम हटा देते हैं, तो बस इतना टर्म उठा लेते हैं, और यही वो चीज़ है वहाँ पे हम लिखे हैं। मतलब ये अगर मेरा टाउ था, यहाँ पे टाउ 1 2 था, तो ये वाला जो फंक्शन हम राइट हैंड साइड में लिखेंगे, मतलब इससे डेल्टा एक्स डिस्टेंस आगे, ठीक है, वो लिखेंगे टाउ 1 2 प्लस डॉ टाउ 1 2 डिवाइडेड बाई डॉ एक्स डिस्टेंस जितना राइट हैंड साइड गया, तो x1 डिस्टेंस में गया तो डॉ x1 कर देंगे टाइम्स dx जितना डिस्टेंस राइट हैंड साइड ट्रैवल किया एक्चुअली में, तो एक्चुअली में ट्रैवल डिस्टेंस की हम dx, बट रियल में हम यहाँ पे देख रहे हैं कि हम dx1 ये पूरा लिए थे, हम पूरा एलिमेंट को dx1 लिए थे, तो अभी आधा हम मूव किए हैं, क्योंकि हम बीचों बीच हम टॉर्क देखना चाह रहे हैं, तो आधा डिस्टेंस ये मूव किए हैं, तो हम यहाँ लिख देंगे dx1 बाई 2। सो ये हो जाएगा मेरा
ओके
फंक्शन
सर।
वैल्यू एट राइट हैंड साइड, तो वो टेलर सीरीज से आता है, और बाकी सारे फिर वैसे ही लिखते हैं, ठीक है।
ओके
गुड,
सर।
ओके, ठीक है, तो फाइन।
सर
हाँ बोलो।
सर अभी हमने डिराइव किया ना सर के स्ट्रेस टेंसर जो है वो सिमेट्रिक है,
हाँ
तो ये कंजर्वेशन जब हम चैप्टर पढ़ रहे हैं तब तक ही वैलिड है, ये आगे भी वैलिड होता है?
नहीं, हमेशा हमेशा कंजर्वेशन का मतलब है तुम्हारा पूरा यूनिवर्स कंजर्वेशन लॉ पे ही वैलिड है, और कंजर्वेशन लॉ को बनने में इसका थोड़ा सा हेल्प मिलता है, 10% ही हेल्प मिलता है, बट मिलता है हमें, आसानी होती है, ठीक है।
मतलब सर
तो
हम कोई
ये हमेशा वैलिड है,
स्ट्रेस
हाँ हमेशा वैलिड है। स्ट्रेस सेंसर्स ऑलवेज सिमेट्रिक होते हैं, ये हमेशा वैलिड है, ठीक है, ठीक है। इसके लिए कोई अलग से हमको स्पेशल केस का जरूरत नहीं है, ये हमेशा वैलिड होगा।
तो सर इसके कोई भी बॉडी के अलोंग जो नॉर्मल फोर्सेस एक्ट कर रहे हैं, जैसे हमने यही वाला एग्जांपल लिया ना अभी
हम्म
आगे वाला,
हम्म
तो उसमें
हम्म
हमने स्ट्रेस को अगर सिमेट्रिक किए तो जो नॉर्मल फोर्सेस उस पे एक्ट कर रहे होंगे वो भी होगा ना सिमेट्रिक में?
वो
तो
भी होगा, वो भी होगा, पर अभी हम केवल एक प्रॉपर्टी डिफाइन किए हैं कि स्ट्रेस टेंसर सिमेट्रिक होता है। नॉर्मल चीजें होती है वहां पे, बट नॉर्मल चीजें चूंकि मेरे को डिराइव करने में टॉर्क इक्वेशन आ रहा था, ये प्रॉपर्टी डिराइव करने टॉर्क इक्वेशन आ रहा था, और टॉर्क नॉर्मल कंपोनेंट टॉर्क नहीं देता है, तो उसको हम लिए नहीं। हालांकि उसको रखोगे तो कैंसिल हो जाएगा, रख सकते हो तुम, यू आर आई एम हैप्पी, तुम रखने हो तो रख लो लेकिन उसका कोई मतलब नहीं होगा, क्यों? क्योंकि टॉर्क इक्वेशन में वो कुछ हेल्प करेगा ही नहीं, वो कैंसिल हो जाएगा, रख दो यहाँ पे, प्लस समथिंग समथिंग करोगे, माइनस समथिंग समथिंग, वही है, सब कैंसिल हो जाएगा,
क्योंकि
समझे?
वो मोमेंटम नहीं देगा हमको इसके लिए।
हाँ नहीं देगा, हाँ। हालांकि रखना है तो रख लो, कोई दिक्कत नहीं, और रखना ही चाहिए, अदर अगर पूरा फुल अगर ढंग से अगर इसको डिराइव करना है तो तुम्हें रखना भी चाहिए एक्चुअली में। यस गुड, तुमको रखना है, चाहिए ही चाहिए। तो टाउ 1 1 यहाँ रखोगे तो टाउ 1 1 प्लस समथिंग समथिंग आएगा, इधर वाला भी टाउ 1 1 समथिंग समथिंग आएगा। लेकिन जब हम टॉप निकालेंगे तो हम क्या लिखा लेंगे, टाउ 1 1 प्लस समथिंग समथिंग टाइम्स द डिस्टेंस जितना टॉर्क लग रहा था। तो डिस्टेंस कितना लग रहा था, टाइम्स 0। वो टॉर्क दे ही नहीं रहा है ना,
यस सर।
टॉर्किंग मोमेंट दे ही नहीं रहा है ना, वो तो खींच रहा है सीधा। टॉर्क देता है कौन, जब कपल आता है, तो ये कपल देगा ही नहीं। टाइम इसका डिस्टेंस 0 रहेगा। यहाँ पे डिस्टेंस आ रहा है इसलिए टॉर्क मिल रहा है, यहाँ पे 0 डिस्टेंस रहेगा सभी लोग का, तो ये पूरा पूरी 0 हो जाता है। हालांकि इसको लेना चाहिए हमको डिराइवेशन में भी, पर हम नहीं लिए क्योंकि हम पहले ही डिफाइन कर लिए कि हम नॉर्मल फोर्स जो है टॉर्क नहीं देगा। 0 डिस्टेंस कैसे, मतलब यहाँ पे मेरा पॉइंट है, इसको खींच रहे हैं फोर्स, ठीक है, और डिस्टेंस मेरा क्या हो जाएगा, मतलब फोर्स टाइम्स डिस्टेंस। तो बेसिकली कपलिंग देगा ही नहीं ना, मतलब डिस्टेंस यहाँ पे क्या हो गया,
परपेंडिकुलर
ये 0।
डिस्टेंस।
हाँ परपेंडिकुलर डिस्टेंस हो गया, नहीं है, ठीक है।
यस सर।
हाँ ठीक है, गुड। Okay, then we can leave
सर
then.